That's a big and because we're fucking back. Welcome back to Two Dudes and a Mexican. I'm your host, some dude named Victor. To the left of me is my co-host, some dude named Peter Soprano.
Well,
And to the right of me is our resident Mexican, Dave Quinones.
Hola mi gente.
What's up, guys? I feel like this is nostalgic. We were here a month ago. We were all wasted except David. David was being responsible. I was not. I drank a lot of Hennessy that night. Super Bowl.
yeah, that was bad.
We're
Yeah,
back.
it was
We're back in the basement
crazy.
where we spent a lot of time here. You know, shout out to Heck Senior.
Yep.
Every time we come here, it's always Heck Senior. This is where we made a lot of good memories. I became friends with a lot of good people here. So we're here in the basement, actually. So we just call it the basement.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're in the basement. We're in the basement. So let's get right into it. Pete's favorite player in the world.
Really, Pete?
Pete's favorite player in the world. Bryce Harper
Oh
signed.
God.
He
I had
signed.
to think about that. I got
Who is he talking about?
His favorite player in the world.
This is not gonna be a good show for me.
It's over. He's done. He's done. It's finally off the table.
Finally.
$330 million for 13 years. Are the Phillies? No,
I gotta-
actually, listen. When I first heard the contract, I thought the Phillies are fucking stupid. But then I was like, 13 years.
Lifetime, pretty much.
I mean, he's a lifetime Philly. Well, that's not bad. It's $25 million.
It's 39.
I think the Phillies got a steal here. What are your thoughts? I think Harper is a fucking, like, I'm not gonna say he's a moron because he's getting 30. He's getting $27 million a year for the next 13 years.
Yeah.
But really, $27 million a year?
Yeah.
I mean, if you do the math, it's probably less than that actually.
Yeah, it's like 26.
It's like 26 point something.
Yeah.
Really? He held out for that?
Yeah, because his main thing wasn't, and I actually told you guys about it a day or two before he actually signed a deal. He wanted to get to the magic number of passing 325 Giancarlo Stanton's contract, which was $325 million. He wanted to top that with 330. It really didn't matter if it was 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. He just wanted to beat that. He knew he wasn't going to beat the $35 million per year on a short term, unless it was a short term deal, and he wanted the most guaranteed money. So with
I'm sorry.
what happened?
This guy really put lebitch.
He wasn't
So
playing.
let me first say I did not say that as the title. Whatever the title of the show is, I did not say that. Our producer had that.
My boy
But he
Scott-
probably said it because
our
of
boy
me.
Hale, our boy Hale says Pete's gonna keep his clothes on while he insults LeBron.
Yeah, so that's why I said it's gonna be a bad show for me. But
Holy shit, he did pull a bitch.
I can't believe he put
Yeah.
that. Listen, he put that in honor of me, but I didn't tell him to put that.
You put it in honor of you. It's kind of the same thing, Pete. I don't know.
Yeah, so I didn't suggest it. I didn't suggest it.
I didn't think he was gonna pull it off.
Fuck that dude.
We're gonna get a cease and desist letter from the Lakers, bro. Shit, holy fuck.
Alright, so yeah, was that tampering for Magic Johnson?
We're gonna get a letter from the Lakers soon, bro.
But yeah, Harper really just wanted to get to 330. Whoever gave it to him, no matter what the specifications of the deal, no opt-outs, whatever, no trade, he just wanted to get to 330, and he got to 330. So they offered the most overall because the other teams were offering around $300 million, and Dodgers were offering a short-term contract, which would have been like $40 million a year.
45.
But-
45.
Yeah, between 40 and 45 million a year, but it would have been a short-term deal for like maybe I think 5 years.
All right.
So he rather wanted the more overall, just kind of like what we talked about with Machado. Machado offered more overall 350, but he wanted to guarantee money. He wanted overall 300 million. He wanted 330.
Okay, so let me pose this to you now. So let's say I think this Dodgers deal is 4 years. Even let's go 4, let's go 5, right? 4 years at 45, right? That's 90. That's $180 million.
Yep.
By the time he gets past that contract, he's 30.
Mhm.
You're telling me he couldn't get another $100 million contract or
Mhm.
more at that time? I think he should have taken the Dodger deal. Whether it was 4 or 5, even if it was 5, it's 4 is 180.
Yeah.
If it's 5, it's 225.
Yeah.
That's you're already in the stratosphere of the 330. Even if you're at 180, you're already more than halfway there,
Mhm.
and that's only 4 of the 13 years. Let's say it's 5 now. 5 would have been 225.
Yep.
So you're already 100 million within reach, and you're only 30.
Yeah, but it's.
I don't think. And here's the thing. This is why I don't want Bryce Harper on my team. He didn't want to gamble on himself.
That's the problem, and that's exactly
Yep.
you took the words right out of my mouth.
Exactly.
It would have been a gamble. You never know. An injury, numbers go down. maybe he doesn't command that much money. I think the bigger thing was too the commitment. Like what team was going to commit that many years and that much money? Because Pete's right. He definitely wanted to be that person, right? That next mark, so to speak. And he wanted to be that next person, and at 330 he is now. So, but I think also it was that commitment. Who's going to commit that many years to him? So so he could have all that guaranteed money. And now he doesn't have to gamble himself. I mean, he's guaranteed $330 million no matter what happens.
Of course, that's over a 13-year period,
right,
which
but-
is fine. Which I get it, but in terms of like in my opinion, the Phillies got a steal because in 6 or 7 years, right? He has a no trade clause, right?
Yeah.
If he's not satisfied, right? Let's say he's like, God damn, freaking, I don't know what's coming up. Soto, his teammate. Let's say his teammate comes up.
Soto was on Washington, but
He was a teammate. It was a teammate.
yeah.
So let's say his teammate Soto comes up in 5-6 years and he gets a fucking $400 million deal. Or let's say when in 2 years from now when Mike Trout comes,
Mike Trout, that's the other question I was actually going to pose.
And he
If he's getting this much money, how much is Mike Trout going to
Definitely.
get? Because I mean, in my opinion,
I give Mike Trout $45 million right now.
Oh yeah.
Mike, hey bro, what do you want to play? You want to trade Stanton?
You know what's happening? It's tampering already.
You want us to trade Hicks? I'll gladly trade Hicks right now.
Damn right.
I'll trade Hicks right now.
That's your new 7 years.
I'll trade Hicks right now for Jonathan Papelbon. All right, I don't even know what
Whoa. Papelbon?
Yeah, bring Papelbon
You
back.
should call him Papel bitch.
He is a Papel bitch. I'll trade Hicks for my worst enemy.
Fuck Hicks.
Trade Hicks for my worst enemy and bring Bryce Harper in for $45 million for 20 years if you want. I don't give a fuck. You play here till he's 50. I don't care. But that's the thing though. So he's gonna see these contracts and he'll be like, bro, I'm only making $26 million. Oh, all right. Let's restructure this or trade me. I think the Phillies got a steal here.
I mean, who knows? I mean, he could pose that to later on, obviously. But again, remember, it's guaranteed, and he's the new man. That's it. At 330, that's it. He's that new person that has transcended and has set the mark now. So
Like you said, he didn't want to bet on himself.
No,
He didn't want to bet
yeah,
himself.
of course
He
not.
didn't want to
I
bet
mean,
himself.
If like I said, if you look at his past couple of years, he's hit 252 of the last 3 years.
Yeah.
He's only gotten 100 RBIs once in his entire career, and he's missed 40 games 3 of his last 7 years. So, he may not be as dependable as you want, and he may not be as productive as people are trying to make him seem. So maybe he realizes that and he's just trying to cash in. Hey, you got $330 million.
I mean, he's set for life. Obviously, his whole family's set for life. But I just think he could have. I just think if he's as good as he says he is, or if people are making him out to be, he takes the Dodger deal and he kills it. And then some idiot owner down the line. He's even you know how people when you're 30 and you're killing it. I'm not saying they're gonna do it again.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they were giving guys
Yeah.
$8, $9, $10 million deals, 10-year deals.
Yeah.
They may not give him a 10-year deal, but they might give him a 7-year deal worth like 200.
Yeah.
So 200 plus 145 or a little bit of 180. He would have made 380.
Yeah.
So I just think he didn't gamble on him. So I think the Phillies got a steal. And I'm gonna pose a question to you, Dave. How do you feel? I mean, both of you guys. I'm sorry, you're both in the same division as the Phillies now. But I'll start with you. The Mets had a pretty decent offseason. No big splashes, but nice moves. You know, Cano, the closer from Seattle. You re-signed Familia.
Still trash.
Oh my God.
shut up.
How do you feel now? How do you feel the dynamic at the NL East has changed?
Listen, I'll be honest. I wanted either San Francisco or Los Angeles to pick him up because now it's kind of the same thing. Now they have to deal with Bryce Harper, on the Phillies. So let me tell you, listen, the NL East is stacked. I think. Atlanta looks good. Obviously, they have a good farm system, and obviously making the playoffs last year was a step forward for Atlanta. Obviously, the Phillies getting Bryce Harper was big, and Washington's Washington. Washington's still got a good squad, so it's gonna be a tough. I mean, listen, I'm hopeful, but I'm also realistic. The Mets made some good moves, but I think right now, I mean, we're probably on the bottom of this division right now because this division looks good, and I think it's going to be one of the toughest.
With your pitching staff. Your pitching staff when healthy.
I think so.
If healthy, I think it doesn't matter. If you got
yeah, but if you don't have any offense to put runs, on the board, pitching can only do so much.
You got Cano, Conforto.
First baseman, top prospect.
Top prospects.
Yeah, I mean Peter Alonso, but we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know if he's going to stay or not.
Who's the guy that's your other outfield that's been annoying, but he's kind of good.
The real deal.
No.
The real deal.
Nemo.
McNeil.
Nemo. Yeah, Nemo. I like Nemo.
Brandon Nemo. So I mean, listen, we're banking on a lot of stuff though right now. We're banking on, and I think we'll have a good season. But again, to compete against the other three teams in our divisions, it's going to be tough.
You think the Nationals are still that good even without Harper?
I think so.
Strasburg.
Yeah, they got a good pitching staff.
They got
Matt
Scherzer.
They got a good pitching staff. They still got a pretty good lineup. So even without Harper, it's going to be tough. So, but I'm optimistic.
Your thoughts on your division, on the Phillies? Getting Harper, Muto, Dave Robertson. I mean, how's the outlook now that Harper's now in Philadelphia?
Well, I thought that last year both the Braves and the Phillies kind of overachieved a little bit. Nobody expected them to be at the top of the division. I think that the Braves right now they only added Donaldson, so they didn't really add too much. They're kind of banking on their young players continuing to get better. I really like what the Mets did in the offseason. I thought they filled all their holes. Their pitching staff overall is probably the best in the division, one of the best staffs in baseball when they're healthy. And even though Washington lost Harper, they got another pitcher in Corbin, so they're still going to be.
Which they overpaid.
I mean,
they overpaid, but you have to do that. So I think that they're still going to be.
I'm glad
there.
the Yankees didn't go that far.
I thought the Yankees were going to get.
I thought so too. I thought they were going to try that.
As a New York kid and everything like that.
I didn't like it.
But yeah, so I think as a overall the division got better.
Oh yeah.
But. Like I said, I really like what the Mets did in the offseason. I think that if their pitching stays healthy, they're going to be right up there at the top of the division. I'm still not completely sold on Philly, even though the top, I would say 4 or 5 hitters in their lineup are good. After that, there's nothing, and they didn't help their defense. Their defense is still bad, and that killed them last year. And you got to do pitching and defense in baseball. If you don't have that, you're going to throw your games away. So Philly still needs to improve their defense, and they didn't do that. The only one they really got that was good defensively was Segura. And McCutcheon, even though he's getting older, at least he's above average. He's an above average outfielder. He's not what he was before.
I mean, of course, we got him last year, and he did his thing. I mean, I wasn't expecting Kutch, MVP season Kutch, but
Yeah, Harper has a great arm, but he's not great defensively. So they didn't really get better defensively, and they didn't really add any top tier starting pitching. So I still think that they're gonna have some problems. They still have their young kids, but. Other than their top guy who re-signed a contract a couple weeks ago with them, other than him, they don't really have much pitching.
Do you think transitioning into the next topic, do you think the Phillies go after Das Keiko?
Yeah, they've already started talking to him a little bit. I don't know if they will be able to solidify the deal to get him, but he's him as I said what we're going into next. Him and Kimber are the next chips to fall because those are pretty much. Those two and maybe Gio Gonzalez are the next 3 biggest free agents left out there.
But what's going on with Das Keiko though? He's just former Cy Young winner. Why isn't he signed? He couldn't have been waiting for Machado and Harper to sign. Yeah,
but he slowed down a little bit last year. He's on that mark where he's 30 years old and he already was a 3.74, so he wasn't what his Cy Young was. So you can see everything in his pitching starting to decline a little bit. So nobody wants to give him a $25 million contract, $20 to $25 million contract for 4 or 5 years.
Of course I wouldn't.
I know the Braves have looked at him for a short-term deal with 2 years. Also, they've done the same thing with Kimbrel. But they don't want to go 3-4 years, and I know both of those players want 4-year deals.
Your thoughts on Kimbrel? I mean, I think he's overpricing himself.
Definitely, he definitely is.
But I honestly think he's going to end up with the Braves somehow. I mean, listen, I hate the Red Sox. When he came over, I still hate him. I'm probably
Red Sox are ignoring him. They pretty much haven't even said anything to him.
But I mean,
it's crazy.
Where do you think he ends up? And what do you think he wants? What, a 4 or 5 year deal?
Yeah, he wants a 4-year deal.
Yeah, he wants a 4 or 5 year deal. I think. Listen, it's a good question right now. Listen, the market is different now too. I mean, look at it, guys. It's a different market. There's still, who would have thought Kimber would be a free agent?
This long. He's one of the best closers in the game.
Listen, I wouldn't.
Machado free agent.
They did to themselves.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in the NL East. I don't know. Maybe the Phillies they're gonna get him. I don't know. I mean,
they're gonna get Keiko.
They're gonna get Keiko. They're gonna get Kimbrel. They're gonna get
Mike Trout in 2 years.
I mean, they were putting it out there. They were gonna be big spenders this year. So in the offseason. So I wouldn't be surprised Phillies. Maybe the Phillies.
Well, one thing about Kimbrel though, I know the Braves are trying to get him on a 2-year deal. So I'm assuming they're probably offering him around $40 million for those 2 years.
He's not going to take that 2-year deal. Though.
Yeah, well, I know other teams are probably offering him a 3-year deal at $50 million, so it's probably around $17 million. So a little bit less per year, but you get more guaranteed. And he wants a 4-year deal that's probably in the range of $65 million. So he's going to want that extra year. So I would say he probably prefers the Braves because of the history with them. So if the Braves ever went to 3 years, he'll probably sign with them. But
I say the Red Sox sign him because he can't beat the Yankees.
Hey, most Red Sox pitchers have had trouble with the Yankees, whether it's Pedro or Papelbon, or they all had trouble. So
I hate Papelbon more than any other player in the world. So.
You just wanted to trade for him.
Like I said, I trade Hicks for my worst enemy. If it meant Mike Trout was coming, you know what I'm saying? I trade him right now. Like
Mike Trout's gonna. I can't even imagine how much his contract's gonna be. The only thing I could guess is that he's gonna get over $400 million.
Oh, definitely.
That's the only thing I can guess.
If Bryce Harper was able to get 330,
he may get one of those 13 years, $500 million.
It's insane. It's insane that like a guy like let's say Aaron Judge is probably a bigger star than Mike Trout.
Yeah,
because Mike Trout is literally the best player in the game right now.
That's where you play though.
But it's not LA.
Well,
Anaheim.
15-minute drive.
Remember we call them Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, from California, from North America, the Western Hemisphere of Earth.
Yeah. So
what kind of name is that?
But let me tell you, I mean, whoever gets him though, I mean, Mike Trout's so marketable. I mean, forget it. I mean, if he, I mean, I don't know if he ends up in New York. Who knows? But if he ends up in New York,
who's going to go really hard at him?
Chicago.
Wow. Chicago.
Cubs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I was thinking of White Sox.
Yeah, but they're not going to get. I think the Cubs.
I don't think he would. He go to the White
nobody
Sox.
Nobody wants to go to.
Nobody wants to go.
Nobody wants to go to the South Side. Bro.
And again, money does talk. Money does talk. But
what I'm saying, the White Sox shine like half of Machado's family, and the dude didn't even want to go there.
His best friend.
Machado was like South Side. He's like, nah, I'm good, bro.
Well, Machado wanted that weather too.
I'm gonna go to Petco Park. They named the park after the pet store.
Nice sunny California weather.
If they had guaranteed that extra $50 million, to be signing a deal to try to go to a Bulls game, though.
Oh shit, bro, I would have. You give me $350 for 10 years.
Yeah,
wow, bro. I was like, we out, bro.
Give me a couple coats. I'm ready to go.
I'm there. So moving topics, baseball. We'll see you soon. March.
Can't wait.
Opening day is
we'll talk about when the top guys.
LGM baby.
Opening day is about a month away, but we are in the final leg of the NBA season, the final quarter of the NBA season. When we had this conversation in September, LeBron to LA seemed like a great idea, right? Laker fans were already, saying not 1, not 2, not 3. Kawhi's coming, not 4, not 5. AD's coming, not 6, not 7. Butler's coming, not 8, not 9. Durant's coming, possibly 10. Yeah. 10 championships in LA. 10. Laker fans, I love you, but you picked the wrong person to deal with. LeBron James went to LA to have 8 barbershop shows. 1 on CBS, 1 on HBO, 1 on ESPN, 1 on the Women's Network, 1 on Oprah Winfrey's Network, 1 on ESPNW,
ESPN Plus,
1 on ESPN Plus, 1 on DAZN, 1 on Sky Sports,
1 on BN,
1 on BN TV. He's come here and totally, I'm not going to say ruined the great franchise.
He's rappers.
No, he ruined it.
Listen, Lakers are a proud franchise, right? The GOATs, Kareem, Wilt,
Jerry West,
Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Kobe, Shaq,
Kareem,
Byron Scott.
Yeah.
And he's come here and made a total mockery of one of the greatest franchises in sports. Not only because he came here for ulterior motives. He came here to build his brand. He didn't come here to win championships. And at the same time, he's about to trade the whole team. Everyone. He told New Orleans, you want Kuz? You can have Kuz. You want Lonzo? Oh, we'll give you Lonzo. You want Hart? You can have Hart.
You want Jeannie Buss?
You want Jeannie Buss? You can have her too. Brandon Ingram? I don't like his braids. He gotta go.
Bron's gonna trade
you want this tall center I never met in my life. You can have him too.
Oh, you don't want him? We'll trade him anyway.
We'll trade him anyway to our rivals in the same building.
I like Zubac, Joe.
I do too. Actually,
Stupid.
the TNT was like, "Oh, the Lakers need a center, right?"
That
And
was stupid.
TNT was like, "What the Lakers are missing? They need a center." They just had one. They traded him to the fucking
He
Clippers.
could have gotten double every game. That's
Oh,
stupid.
shit. So, yesterday, LeBron James, he quit last week. There's videos of him not guarding a three-point shoot. He's literally where Hav is, and he's like right
Further
here,
back, yeah.
probably further back. And the guy shoots a three. I know he sucks. The guy, he didn't suck, but
25%.
So he's 25% three-point shooter, right? So he's like, I'll let him shoot. And he makes it, and they lose. And then yesterday they lose to the worst team in the NBA. The Knicks are terrible, but the Suns are worse. And they lost, and thank you, LeBron, for quitting, because we have the same amount of wins as the Suns now. It's great. It's great. So Pete, I'm gonna put this to you because I listen. I like LeBron a long time ago, maybe up to his Cleveland. When he left Miami, when he went to Miami, I kind of hated him. When he came back to Cleveland, I respected it. And then when he booked it to LA, I was like, oh well, whatever. I don't care now. What is fucking going on in LA? We're gonna call this the LeBron experiment.
Well, I think the problem is that you almost have such an age gap. You got somebody who has been to 9 straight championships. He has all the experience you could think of with the All-Stars and everything. And then you have a team that's super young trying to learn how to win. So there's such a gap. There's no in-between. There's nobody. Like, usually on a team, you'll have some veterans that have been around the league that... And I'm not even talking about Lance Stevenson or Rondo. I'm talking about people like
Lonzo.
Yeah, you usually have people around the league to kind of bring these guys in. Like, even how the Knicks had Kyle O'Quinn, the backup Porzingis at that time. You got older people to show people how to get into the league that can still play a little bit. Right now, they don't really have that. Like, Rondo can play, but Rondo's never really been one of those guys to really help everybody else.
Say about Rondo.
Take
it easy.
He'll probably hurt somebody.
That's my boy.
Rondo?
Always been, bro. Always been, bro. Rondo fuck up KG if they went at it.
Yeah, but still, Rondo?
Bro, the Bulls would have won that series if he was healthy.
You probably would have, because he hated the Celtics so much.
You know damn well he would have put up 40
he hated the
if he wasn't hurt.
So much.
Would have put up 40 if he wasn't hurt.
But yeah, people like Rondo, people
he
like
took it to Chris Paul. I don't know if he spit on
true.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, he did. But Lance Stevenson is another one. He's not really known for really guiding young players along. So they don't have anybody to bridge the gap. So you can see it even when they were sitting apart on the bench. They don't really relate with each other. You got somebody that's 35 years old and you got somebody that's 25 years old. There's a big gap while you're trying to... And it's one person. It's not like it's a group and it's a group. It's one person to the entire team.
The Lakers need a J.R. Smith or a Tristan Thompson. That's great.
Oh, my God. You might as well get James Jones. James Jones and Ray Allen. But yeah, there's such a gap. There's an age gap right now. And you even can see it on Twitter when you have people talk about old school basketball and new school basketball, and there's a gap. There's a huge gap in their team. They need somebody to fill in those pieces so they can actually be a team. Yeah. They're like 2 separate teams right now. It's LeBron and everybody else. So they have a problem right now.
Has he quit? Has he quit on this spot?
What
was the interview yesterday? I mean, listen, I never thought Lou Walton was a good coach. I mean, I can't judge it.
I don't think he's a bad coach.
I don't think he's a bad coach either, but I can't judge it based on when he took over.
Yeah, this is a dysfunctional team.
He took over when Steve Kerr was
the best team ever.
Yeah, he took over the best team ever. Steve Kerr had his little issues health wise, so I can't. He had freaking he got Kevin, he had Steph, Clay, Draymond, Iguodala. Okay, so you don't really have to coach them. I mean,
they've coached themselves before.
Yeah, Steve Kerr was like, "Here, take."
They literally coached themselves before.
But coming into this team and coming into a guy who will always be bigger than any coach.
Yeah.
I don't think there's maybe Pop.
Yeah.
Would be the only one I would say that LeBron won't pull stunts on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But
he's got a lot of respect for Pop.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
Or Coach K.
Yeah.
That's the only 2 coaches I think LeBron will be like, all right, I'm gonna shut. Or Pat Riley if he ever came out and coached again.
Yeah.
I think that would be the only coach that LeBron would be like, all right, I'm gonna shut my mouth. I'm gonna listen. So Luke Walton coming into that situation it's a lose-lose.
But you look at that. Look at the people you just named. The only one that he was related with was Pat Riley, because he didn't really deal with Pop. He didn't deal with anybody else. And that's when he was his most successful. That's when he had somebody actually telling him what to do and he had to listen to it. He had to learn.
Listen to Spoelstra.
Everything.
Listen to Spoelstra.
Yeah, because Riley was backing him.
Spoelstra's
That's
not a
why.
bad coach.
No, he's
That's
not.
a really
But,
good
but
coach.
Riley was also backing him. Like, listen, because Spoelstra was a young coach at that time. He was in his second year, so he technically could have taken advantage too. But Riley wouldn't let him. So he never had a figure above him where he could say, "Listen, you can't pull this crap with me." Like,
That's why you should probably went to college and went to Duke. I don't
Well,
lie to you.
but now, look,
I he would listen. But I'm not,
Ever
as
since-
much as I don't like Duke, Coach K is a good coach. Put some stress. Why do you think Zion went to Duke?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. LeBron's over here bigger than the game now.
yeah, and the thing is,
Who's Luke
and
Walton?
since he left Pat Riley, everybody knows he's pretty much been the player, the coach, the GM, the owner, everything.
And
He
the
wasn't that
bitch.
with Miami.
And the bitch.
With Miami, you knew he was a player, and that was it. Even if you want to call him a coach a little bit, they said no. Riley's the coach, pretty much, even though it was Spoelstra. So he didn't control that team. Like Riley was the controller of that team. Since he left there, it's been all
Listen, if
weird.
it wasn't for LeBron, Tristan Thompson would not be $100 million man, bagging Kardashians, bagging Kardashian friends, having ASIMs on New Year's Eve and cheating on Kardashians. Holy shit, Dave.
Kardashians are cheatable.
So, your thoughts? LeBron quit? LeBron's quitting.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, it's just a horrible situation over there. What's going on in LA?
And not for LeBron. He's got like 8 talk shows and TV shows.
Oh yeah, he's living it up. He's doing what he needs to do, but he's not doing what he needs to do on the basketball court. And I agree. I agree with
doing
Pete.
it offensively, but his defense. Is suspect.
Well, yeah, but he can't do everything. Listen, to every
supposed to. He's the GOAT.
to every great player,
Like
Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen. I mean, listen, you can't do it on your own.
He's got Kuz.
I think there's definitely a big disconnect with him and his, other players, especially what he tried to pull with, trying to trade the whole damn team, say for one player. I mean, how do you respect a guy like that, even if he is the GOAT? Mm-hmm. So, I just think that it's
part
just
of the business,
dysfunctional.
so I mean, either way, those young kids, I get it. It's part of the business, but if I'm his teammate, I'm like, this motherfucker really tried.
Yeah, but you still, but at the end, exactly, at the end of the day, you still got to play with this
I'm
person.
like, this motherfucker really tried.
And look, and the trade didn't happen, so now you still got to play with that guy.
And you're not even saying like let's say in the situation of DeMar DeRozan, right? His GM traded him.
Yeah.
So DeRozan and Kyle Lowry like best of friends, and you'd be like, oh, well, and Kyle Lowry would be like, GM traded like my best friend. What an asshole.
Cried pretty much.
He was pretty much crying and hammered. But one thing is when the GM traded you.
Yeah.
There's another thing when you look at the dude, I'm like, this motherfucker LeBron really tried.
Yeah.
He's calling the shot. So I mean,
it's not like you going up. I'm like, damn, Magic tried to trade me.
Yeah.
Damn, Rob Pelinka tried to trade me. No. This motherfucker LeBron really tried to trade me for Anthony Davis.
I mean,
the guy who won't even pass me the ball. He won't even pass me the ball and he tried to trade me.
Trade me for fucking Anthony Davis.
I mean, listen, that's why players are players, and that's why you have the GM, the coach, so on and so forth. Everybody's got to do their job, and if everybody's not doing their job, a team is not going to function.
What's the worst is when he tries to come out after a trade or something and says, "Oh, I had no idea they were talking about that." You're the best player on the team. Like, they really not going to talk to you about trying to get you a teammate. Like, come on, don't be stupid now.
Fucking liar.
But
It was just stupid. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk to you about this, but you're playing with this guy now. Yeah, exactly. The guy you're paying this 150, what was it, 4 years, 150 million to, and you're not gonna consult with him about a trade? Come on, man.
They are.
Come on.
Of course they are.
I don't want to hear that crap.
I mean, listen. You know what's crazy? In 4 years, Jerry West is gonna build a contender.
Yeah.
Right in the same building.
Yeah.
With the Clippers.
He will. They continue to win, even though they keep trading away players, and they still continue to win. They're gonna have a bunch of picks pretty soon.
Well, if they don't make the playoffs, they have more picks.
Yeah, that's true.
They're trying to lose.
Yeah,
but LeBron is losing, like, not purposely. The Lakers are losing not purposely.
LeBron's losing not purposely.
I mean, yeah, I'm not even gonna call them Lakers. LeBron's losing. LeBron's not trying to lose on purpose. The Clippers are trying to lose on purpose because they get their draft pick doesn't go to Boston, right? Right. If they don't make the playoffs, their draft pick doesn't go to Boston. They don't want to make the playoffs.
Yeah. They traded away Tobias Harris to not
make the playoffs, and not only that,
and they still keep winning.
They'll get the draft pick back from Boston.
Yeah,
that would probably be used in a chip to try to get Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
so they're trying not to win. They're trying not to win, and the LeBrons are trying to win.
They want to trade for Anthony Davis and then sign one of the wings, whether it's Butler from Philadelphia or if they want to get Kawhi from Toronto. So that's what their plan is, to try to get 2 of those guys. But they keep winning.
They keep winning. It's crazy. It's crazy.
The Knicks are trying to win too, though.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
They won like 3 out of 4.
Yeah. 3
Stop,
and 4, man. Hey.
Stop. That was
Stop
again.
the pressure.
Stop it.
I had to.
Stop it.
mention
When the Cavaliers came to town last week, we knew who we were going against. We played hard enough to look good, but not win.
We played hard.
Excellent coaching job, Fizz. Excellent coaching job. Good job, Fizz. Moving along, still in the NBA. The West is obviously accounted for.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely probably going to be between Golden State and Golden State. The East, though, wide open. Oladipo's injury definitely is going to bring back Indiana probably, maybe to a 5 or 6 seed. I mean, but if they stay there, it might change things a little different. The 4 top teams in the East are definitely, obviously, the Bucks, who have the best record in the NBA, Toronto, the Sixers, and then the Celtics, who seem to not like to play with Kyrie Irving anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, welcome to New York, brother. See you soon, Kyrie. Welcome home. Can't wait to take you back to Jersey. We can go have, some Mexican food, some Peruvian food, Puerto Rican food. Welcome home. They don't have that good shit
with
in
Zion.
Boston. I mean, what do you have in Boston? Clam chowder? That's just disgusting. Seriously. They don't even put seasoning up on I-95. What do you got? It's clam chowder.
Oh, man.
What do they eat in Boston?
I
I'm
have
curious.
no idea.
They eat like crab legs and shit, right? Or
Yeah, I
like,
think so.
They eat like seafood,
Yeah, I'm
seafood
sorry.
stuff. Yeah.
Nah,
Seafood
sorry.
and chowder.
Nah, bro, we like Sazone.
I think fish and
Chowder.
chips too, right?
Fish and chips.
Yeah.
We throw adobo on our shit. Alright, down here, in New York, New Jersey.
They drink a lot of Sam Adams
Oh,
over there.
disgusting. We drink Modelo here, bro.
He gets disgusting.
So, if you guys had to pick right now, who's winning the East? I'll go to you first, Dave.
That's a good question. Listen, I'm
He's gonna pick the Celtics.
gonna pick the Celtics. Yes. And I'll tell you why, because of Kyrie Irving.
Oh my gosh.
Then he's never.
Listen, Kyrie's waiting for the postseason to get here. You forget about the regular
He
season.
almost looks like that because he plays better when,
I know.
when the game is bigger.
No, in all honesty, listen, I'm going with the Celtics. Listen, I think Kyrie Irving, as crazy as he is and as awkward as he is, I think once this postseason comes in, man, you're going to see a good ride. I think he's going to put up good numbers. And, I mean, for me...
he might not put up good numbers because he wants to come to New York, so...
That too. So, but I think the Celtics are going to bring it. So I really think they are.
I don't see it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna go next, Pete, because I mean you're the expert, in the NBA. Because I really don't watch anymore. I'm gonna lie to you. I watched
tough to
I
watch.
watched like
It's tough
3
to
Knicks
watch.
games the last 2 weeks.
They win all of them.
No, they won 2. They won 2 of the 4.
Did they win all of them?
Because literally last Sunday there was literally nothing on TV but the Oscars and the Knicks versus Spurs. So I decided to watch the Knicks versus Spurs.
You didn't watch the Oscars?
No, absolutely not. Well, no, I tuned
Knicks
in.
won that one.
They did.
Well,
They
they
did.
won that
They
one.
did. I tuned in because
Samuel?
not Samuel, because my boy Bradley Cooper and what's
Lady
her
Gaga.
name?
Lady Gaga?
The little duet.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper is like awesome, dude. He could do any role you want him to do.
Yeah,
He could
he's a
do.
good actor.
He could do
He is.
The Hangover. He could do
Yeah.
some Texas dude that's shooting people from like 3 million miles away as a sniper, American sniper. And then he could be. I didn't even see the movie. To be
Yeah,
honest.
It was good. It was
It
good.
was
It was a
good.
good movie.
What
Yeah,
was
it
he,
was
like a record executive or like a singer too?
No. He was a country singer. Country
Well,
singer,
there you
star.
go. Good. He's awesome.
He was good.
He's fucking awesome.
Oh, he is.
And he was the bad guy. He was the douche in
Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers.
When he cried.
I didn't like him. I'm like, this Bradley Cooper is an asshole. But then after Hangover, I was like, this Bradley Cooper
Yeah,
is pretty
he's
good. And obviously he does the voice for the little rodent looking dude in Avengers. Is that what his
Oh,
name is?
Oh, yeah.
Avengers, Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. So, very diverse. So yeah, I legit don't watch the NBA that much as I used to.
Me neither.
I remember when I watched the Rockets Knicks game because I just wanted to see what the hype was about James Harden. I get it, he's a great player, but every time he brought the ball up, he would throw some shit up in the air. He'd want to get fouled. I'm like, yo, I'm paying $4,000 to sit courtside to see James Harden shoot 30 free throws. I was like, what is? Anyways, that's besides the point.
Yeah, no. Where are we going with this?
Are we still talking about Bradley Cooper?
Bradley Cooper, James Harden.
Bradley Cooper's the man. Bradley Cooper's
Okay.
the man. He's the man. But my point was I'm gonna let Pete go last because he knows more about the NBA than I do. I'm gonna go with my pick that we had.
You're gonna go Milwaukee.
No, my pick we had a couple months ago when we first previewed the NBA. I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia 76ers. Back then, this was before Tobias Harris. They had Embiid. They had Ben Simmons. They had
Bitch.
well, Jimmy Butler wasn't even there.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler
Wasn't
wasn't
even
there.
there.
He wasn't there.
No,
either.
I was thinking Markel Fultz was going to come into his own. Obviously, he's not there anymore. Is he even in the NBA?
Yeah, he's with Orlando.
Okay, he's not in the NBA.
Oh,
Man.
Orlando's been playing well lately.
Damn, that's
They actually
messed
making the
up.
last playoff
I
spot.
know,
They've been pushing.
I mean, Aaron Gordon plays there too, but I don't even think that team exists. I'm gonna stick with the plan. I mean, Tobias Harris, big get. Jimmy Butler, big get. I mean, I don't even think Ben Simmons shoots threes because he's afraid to. But
Yeah.
I've come along on the Joel Embiid trade. I didn't like him to begin with.
Uh-huh.
I respected his skill set, but I like the way he talks shit and then like gets mad when people talk shit back to him. But part of the game, you know, he likes Mitchell Robinson, so we're friends now. Me and Joel. he's like Mitchell Robinson's gonna be one of the best big men in the league in a couple years.
Joel.
So Mitchell Robinson he's gonna start for the Knicks next year because we traded Kinter and fucking Porzingis, so he's gonna have to start anyway. And then of course we got my guy T.J. McConnell. So I'm riding with the Sixers. I hate Philly, but I hate that they have guys from Arizona. Like trade them away. You guys traded away Nick Foles, thank God. Now I can go back to hating the Eagles. Once you trade away McConnell, I can go back to hating the Sixers. I think the Sixers are gonna come out the East.
Well, surprisingly, we're all going to be different on this because I'm going to go with Toronto.
Kawhi.
Wow, Toronto. Huh?
One Kawhi, I think,
Gasol's
of
number two.
all the teams, I think Kawhi is the best player of all the four teams. Close with Giannis, but
No, C.J. McCollum is better than all of them.
even though Giannis is probably going to win the MVP and none of us are picking Milwaukee and they have the best record,
Free, baby, free.
I'm still going to go with Kawhi because if you look at the past couple of years, Toronto's been at the top. They have the experience of being up there. And they lose every year to LeBron. LeBron is not there anymore. They've been the number one seed one or two times previously and got knocked out by LeBron. They seem to be good against everybody except LeBron. So I think that they've once again proven this year that they're at the top of the East.
Yeah.
They got a top player in Kawhi Leonard that can be clutch in the playoffs for them. And I think he's going to be the type of player because he's much better than DeRozan. Even though DeRozan's good, he's much better than DeRozan, the top 5 player. And I think he's going to push them over.
So who's going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals then?
I think it'll be Toronto. I'm going to say versus Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
I'll give Milwaukee the benefit of the doubt.
I can't see Milwaukee beating Philly.
I think Boston's going to choke because they're going to infight with each other.
If it ends up,
It could be Philly.
If it ends up how it's supposed to be, it'll probably be Milwaukee, Toronto. I think Boston and Philly. Right? Is that how it is?
No, it'll be Philly because
Yeah, so
Boston's like
Yeah,
fifth, I think,
so
right
we
now.
need Toronto to get the number 1 seed. There's some Philly.
Toronto's
Toronto's good. Toronto's good. Toronto, and obviously getting Marc Gasol.
The second round in the East is going to be
I'm
awesome.
saying,
Those
yeah.
4 teams playing against each other in the second round is going to be awesome to watch.
Getting Marc Gasol is huge.
Yeah.
That's just insane. And
Yeah,
Kawhi twice. Every time Kawhi's been on primetime TV, when he played the Spurs, he basically took the ball away from DeRozan, scored to make the winning basket.
Yeah.
And then when they played, didn't they play
Game winner a couple of
couple nights ago? Who did
Yeah.
they play? Was it Milwaukee or
No,
Portland? It was Portland.
Yeah,
Portland. It was Portland, and Portland.
Fadeaway game winner would have hit the rim like 5 times and went in under buzzer. With 2 seconds to go.
I am going to watch the NBA playoffs. The Eastern side, though. Because
Yeah.
I know what's coming out the West.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't even care. You know, unless the Kings make it, then maybe I'll
They
watch.
may.
You know, I gotta see. The Kings are pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not watching them though.
I'm not watching it.
I'm not watching the games.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
watching.
watching it.
Mike Bibby's not there anymore.
I know.
That's true.
Yep, not gonna watch.
Wait.
Yeah, I watch it.
So-
Buddy Hield.
Who?
But who?
Bibby.
The one who's getting tried for sexual assault?
Oh.
Damn.
I didn't say that, Vic.
Innocent until
I
proven
didn't
guilty.
say that, Vic.
Innocent until proven guilty. All right.
Man,
Innocent
that
until
was
proven guilty.
messed up.
Wow, that's fucked up. You
So then
prob-
Tristan's innocent.
Let me tell you,
Of course he is.
I'm
Of
throwing
course
some
he
bombs
is.
today, man. He's
Of course, Tristan. What Tristan do? Some Jezebel threw himself on him.
Jezebel.
Jezebel threw herself at him, and Tristan, the good guy that he is, instead
Caught
of
her.
sending her away, caught her, and made her day. What are you talking about?
So you can't blame Tristan. He's banging a he-she, so he got tired of that.
Oh my god.
I didn't say that. Yeah, who cares?
All right, let's move on.
All right, so I'm gonna divert to you, Pete, since I really don't watch the NFL Combine.
I love it.
I can't watch 20-year-olds just run up.
I watch the highlights sometimes,
Oh,
but
the highlights.
I can't really watch it.
So I'm gonna divert to you on this first question. What
Mhm.
players have impressed you so far?
I think pretty much everything that happened today was amazing because you had D linemen like Quinlan Williams, was just a monster. He's over 300 pounds. He ran a 4.840.
I can do that.
You weren't over 300 pounds. No?
Yeah, you're right.
And then you had the probably one of the most impressive ones today was you have Montez Sweat from Mississippi State, who weighs 260 pounds and ran a 4.4, which is faster than Odell
Jeez.
Beckham.
Whoa,
That's
Odell's probably partying the night before.
ridiculous.
All right, let's take it
With
Watch
easy.
your mouth.
With Landry,
With Landry.
probably together,
They were dyeing each other's hair.
probably,
Oh man.
perhaps.
But yeah, that was unbelievable. And a lot of players we saw this weekend, DK Metcalf, a lot of people Twitter blew up talking about him because he's 240 pounds and ran like a 4.3, which is great. But if you look at his production, he really wasn't good this
Where's he
year.
from? What college?
He went to Ole Miss.
Oh, he's gonna suck.
Yo, but his teammate I love, AJ Brown, the other wide receiver, he was their number one this year, and I think he's gonna be really good
So why is everyone on DJ Metcalf if he wasn't there?
because
number
he's bigger, and he can run fast.
AJ Brown is that Antonio Brown's cousin?
No, Antonio Brown's cousin is Marquise Brown from
Marquise Brown.
Oklahoma.
one? He's really good, isn't he?
Yeah,
I like him. I like him. I like
He
him.
got hurt,
I like
and that's why he's not in the combine. They measured him up and everything, but he's not doing any drills because he got hurt. But he'll be ready to do his pro day, and he'll be ready to show off his legs because he's super fast. So he'll be probably a late first or early second round pick.
Oh, really?
Anyone that probably made more money today for them. Or in the whole combine to begin with, like that, maybe would have been a second and third round pick, or maybe a late first round pick, and then is top 10 now, top 5.
Well, I would say Sweat because Sweat already was looked at as a first round pick, but they were thinking he may be a mid first round pick. With him showing his athletic ability today, he probably is a guaranteed top 10 pick now. So he really jumped up. Another guy that really helped himself out was Miles Boykin of Notre Dame. He was
Actually,
somebody,
I actually know him. I actually like him too.
he was somebody who just completely blew up the combine. I mean, a lot of people thought he didn't do as well as he should have. I mean, I personally, being a Notre Dame fan, I think a lot of it was a quarterback. He has a good quarterback in Ian Book, but he doesn't have a really top-notch NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he ran a 4.4. He's 220 pounds and 6'4". He ran a 4.4 for his 40. He had the fastest broad jump. He had the longest broad jump, longest vertical. His 3-cone time, which means he can change short area speed and everything, was the fastest of everybody.
Damn.
He completely dominated the combine. And at 220 pounds, that's ridiculous to completely dominate every single drill like he did. And if you watch Notre Dame during the year, he had a lot of good plays where people just couldn't cover him, but they just couldn't find ways to get him the ball. So I think he really helped himself out to where he's going to be picked on day 2 now.
In your thoughts, what do the Titans do now with the first round pick that they have?
Well, the Titans have the 19th pick. They're going to be one person that also really helped themselves out is Garrett Bradbury. He's somebody that
Bradley Cooper?
we're still on Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper in your head.
So he
He loves his eyes.
I love his eyes.
yeah. So the Titans are going to be looking at interior offensive line, and they were hoping that somebody like Montez Sweat will fall to them, which is obviously not going to happen now. But they're hoping to get an edge rusher because you can't really have too many edge rushers.
So we were having a conversation off camera about what the Giants are going to do.
Yeah.
I personally think they need to pick a quarterback. But again, I'm not Dave Gettleman. I'm not Demara. I'm not Tish. What do you think the Giants need to do?
Listen, I'm gonna agree with you. I think they need a quarterback. Listen, I reverting back to Eli Manning, I don't think everything was on Eli last year. Again, I think. Listen, I think Eli can still ball in the right in the right system. So, and this system is not the right system for him, especially when you have, a rookie, lineman that's still, learning, but he did great out the best.
I think he did well. I think he did well.
I just think that we need to find his successor. I mean, plain and simple. It's going to be hard to do it on the market. I mean, what are you going to do? Overpay for Nick Foles? And I actually like Nick Foles.
I don't think they overpay him. I
what
think
are
they
you
pay him less
gonna-
than Eli.
I know, but I think whoever gets Nick Foles is going to
They're
have to
gonna
overpay.
pay.
Yeah, they're going to have to overpay for him.
Of course.
So I like Dwayne Haskins. From everything that I see to everything the experts are saying about him. He's a kid with a right mind. It all depends on the Giants, though. I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest with you. So, but I do hope that they do draft a quarterback because I think it's time.
I think that they have a decision to make, which I mean they probably already made it up, or they're gonna make it up. Is either you're gonna go all in on Eli one more year, and build more pieces around them, whether that be cleaning up that right line. But I don't know how you do it with Eli's contract. They definitely need pass rushers. They definitely need.
We have
help.
holes. We have holes.
We have a lot of holes.
We have holes.
So I think, listen, I love Eli, and I was all in on drafting Saquon and giving Eli one more year with all these weapons and Nate Soldier, who's a big disappointment.
That was the other side. Of
I
that
mean,
coin.
if at the end of the day, Nate Soldier needs to man up and play to his contract. Right tackle, the left tackle, the kid we drafted, I think he did stellar. Center, we should have kept the center that we had before. Then the right side was just a mess.
Yeah.
They need to solidify the right side. They need to get actual D linemen that can rush the passer, and then we'll be all right. And that's going to take getting rid of Eli, unfortunately, because that contract is just too big for the production that he's doing. So I think the Giants should draft a quarterback, but Pete says they won't, and I want to hear why.
Well, from what I've been hearing recently is that the one quarterback that they like more than anybody else at this combine and this draft is Daniel Jones of Duke.
Zion Williamson?
The other Duke guy.
R.J. Barrett?
So the other Duke.
Who?
Not Cam Reddish, the other Duke guy. So,
Not the Jones kid?
yeah, so
Coach K?
other Jones. You're right with Jones.
Oh, it's Jones.
Yeah, it's a Jones.
It's not
Other
Coach
Jones.
K, though? It's not Mike Sessions?
No. Coach K may have paid Daniel too, though. But this guy is
I was going to say, what did he get? What did he get at Duke, Hob?
100K.
What did he get? What do you pay his players at Duke?
Free cable, white girls.
So yeah, the guy they really like is Daniel Jones. They said he has a lot of the mannerisms of Eli Manning, and he's very similar to him. The difference is, I personally don't really think he's that good. I think he's a good solid quarterback. I just don't think he's gonna be great. I think his ceiling is probably Derek Carr. So, Giants fans may not want to hear that, and he's somebody that I think is not going to go in the
Derek
top.
Carr was fun until John Gruden got there. I just want to say.
Derek Carr never really won that much, or won anything though. So, but he's a solid quarterback. He's just not. He's not an elite quarterback. He's just a solid quarterback. But I think he's somebody that is going to go in the middle of the first round or late first round. The Giants are probably hoping he falls to early second round so they can get him. I'm not sure if they're going to willing to trade up to get him, because Gettleman as a GM has never traded up in his career as a GM before. So maybe you like him enough that he will trade up to try to get him, but normally he doesn't. But they're hoping, that's the guy they're hoping to get. With the first round pick, they're looking at offensive linemen. So Jonah Williams, if he fell. They're also looking from Alabama. They're also looking at defensive line, so they'll be looking at Quinn Williams, who may be the best player in the draft, but they'll see if
Nick Bosa?
Yeah, he's a monster. So most of them play last year, and I think that hurt him, and I think it showed today with his athleticism. And then they're also going to be looking at the best pass rusher that falls down to them. So I think those are the three things that they're going to be looking at number 6, and then hope they get a quarterback with their next.
So what happens if Kyler Murray is there at 6?
I don't think there's any chance he'll be there at 6.
Really?
Yeah. I
You think
think
the Cardinals going to take him?
I think if they don't take him, somebody's going to trade into the top 5 to take him. I don't think there's.
And
I
what
don't
are your
think
thoughts
there's
on
any
that?
way.
What are your thoughts on that?
I personally,
he's 5'9.5", 5'10",
5'10",
210 pounds.
I personally wouldn't pick him that early, just because I think that he's too short to play quarterback. I know that will piss off a lot of people, but that's just what I feel.
Say Russell Wilson, and I say Drew Brees. And
Yeah, but Drew Brees was 6 feet, or a little bit over 6 feet. Russell Wilson was 5'11", and he can't. I don't think he can play like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a rare player that you never seem to be able to get him down to the ground for some reason. Like he's just one of those guys that escapes.
He's a top 5 quarterback.
And
I know you didn't agree with me last year. Russell was top 5 quarterback.
And even with that, he still has to have people on his team to help him out, because like you saw when he didn't have an offensive line last year, he got killed at certain points.
Oh yeah.
And you
He got
can't.
slapped around a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Still made it to the playoffs with a garbage team, basically.
Yeah,
And they
so,
lost.
but
Well,
that-
and they have anyone to throw to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need help around him. He's not going to be a guy who's going to take hits like Big Ben or take big hits like Aaron Rodgers have. Like, especially at that size. He came into the league, he was 207 pounds. Kyler Murray's 203. Kyler Murray's an inch shorter than Russell Wilson. So he is smaller than Russell Wilson. So people already think that Russell Wilson is very small for a quarterback. And he's going to be smaller than Russell Wilson was. So it's very tough to take the hits that he's going to be able to take at quarterback. He's going to have some flashy plays where it's going to look like he's unbelievable. But I think it's not going to be consistent because, I mean, you're going to have to look over a tall offensive line, which you did at Oklahoma, but it's a different story in the NFL. They're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. So it's a little bit different story in the NFL. So I think he's going to have some issues. But I think the Cardinals are legit seriously thinking about picking him number one and then trading Rosen.
That's insane.
And if they don't pick him, I think there will be teams that'll definitely consider trading up to get in there, like the Dolphins.
Wow, insane. I mean, okay, good for him. I don't know.
Yeah, it's amazing that he was the number one talked about player at the combine, and all he did is get measured.
All right, so do you think he made a mistake not playing for the 80s? He must love football.
The thing the only reason I can't really completely answer this because I don't know how good he was at baseball. If I think that he was going to be, if I think he's going to be a really good baseball player, then yes, I think he made a mistake because I think long term, as we saw with Harper and we saw with all these, you can get a big contract in baseball and you're not taking the physical punishment that you are in football. He was a first round pick. I'm not sure if he went top 10, but he was a first round pick in baseball. So apparently the Oakland A's think he's done. They gave him a big bonus, which they have to take back. So I would have chose baseball, but he
still got that to fall back on, though, right?
Yeah, that was why I think he chose football because you can play football and then go back and play baseball and be 26, 27 and still make it to the league. While if you're going to do that and play, then you're Drew Henson. So. Yeah. You don't want to be Drew Henson. You rather be Russell Wilson and play football. If it works out, it works out. But he still goes to Yankee camp like every season. So
he's my teammate.
So he can go back and play that.
It's me, Russell Wilson, Aaron Hicks, and Aaron Judge.
Drew Henson.
We have a couple minutes left. I just want to jump into Canelo and Danny Jacobs came to New York this week. I was there. Pretty good time, seeing Danny and seeing Canelo. I always like talking to these guys because I respect every fighter, obviously, and I respect these guys that get in the ring and pretty much beat the shit out of each other for a living. Canelo and Danny, respectful. A lot of things have gone on. It's on the zone. $10. You can see Danny Jacobs and Canelo Alvarez fight each other. It's probably the best fight in the calendar right now, outside of maybe. Trying to think the rematch between Estrada and Sugar Risoy. That's my guy that eats rats from Thailand. Yeah. He's my guy. Dave, they came here. There's a rehydration clause, which I asked. Which isn't a big deal to me, honestly.
It isn't.
It isn't, but it was made a big deal because I asked Canelo if he asked for the rehydration clause, and for whatever reason, Golden Boy decided to say that we didn't ask for it. It's an IBF thing. It's false. I knew it was false because they got rid of it after Triple G and Jacobs. Mm-hmm. Because Jacobs unification for unification fights, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So Jacobs said, Canelo said it was the IBF, and I knew it wasn't. And I'm not trying to catch people on lies, but I just wanted to say, yeah, we wanted this 10-pound rehydration limit because you know what? Jacobs blew it off against Triple G.
Maybe he didn't want it. Maybe Oscar wanted it.
Well,
you don't know who won it.
Of course, but I asked him.
But
at the end of the day, Canelo said no, it wasn't me. It was whatever. It might have been a sanctioning body. Golden Boys people said, oh no, it was a sanctioning body. Then I asked Danny when it came out, and Danny and Eddie Hearn said, well, it's an IBF thing. And they're like, oh, you have that on camera? I'm like, yeah, I have it on camera. I was like, yeah, well, put it out there because we didn't say that shit. Which is fine. This is boxing. You're the A side. You can do whatever the fuck you want, and if the B side agrees, then you agree. When Miguel Cotto agreed to the 2-pound weight limit to fight Manny Pacquiao, no issue, you agreed to it. But a lot of people are giving Canelo flack for that. Do you think that changes the density and the compensity of the fight that Danny Jacobs actually has to weigh in at maybe 10 a.m. and if he weighs more than 170 pounds in the day of the weigh-in, morning after weigh-in, that it's a disadvantage. Even though Danny Jacobs has the IBF, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when he fought for the IBF against Sergey Derevchenko, he had to weigh in at 170 in the morning because that's their rule.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter if it's a unification, doesn't matter. But if it's just for the IBF, you have to re-weigh in the morning and weigh 170. So do you think that changes the complexity of this fight, or does it even matter?
I don't think so. I don't think. Listen, a fighter's a fighter. You have a responsibility once you sign that contract, and you say yes to specific details onto that contract. To make weight. I don't know if Jacobs has ever had any issues making weight. I don't know if he's ever struggled. If he hasn't, I don't think it's a big deal. So, who knows? Who knows? I mean, I don't. I don't
Do you think it changes the perception of this fight?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Canelo and I'm just
I don't think so. I don't think so, man.
Okay.
I mean, like you said, when you're the A side, I mean, you make your demands, and listen, as a B side, I don't care what you say. I mean, you don't have to agree. I mean, but if ultimately if you do agree, there's nothing you can say. I mean, I agreed. You're getting paid too. So that's why it's a negotiation.
No, should say fuck you on the A side.
I don't think.
Here's the thing. That's what I was trying to get at to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like I wasn't trying to start shit because I knew he wanted it. I knew like
fuck you.
I knew it already. It
I'm
wasn't
the
the
A
idea.
side. I get what I want. You want to fight? This is what you got to deal with.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to catch Canelo.
Floyd's done it for years.
I
That's
wasn't trying to
Canelo's
catch
turn.
Canelo alive because I'm pretty sure Canelo doesn't fucking care. I'm pretty sure that was a Golden Boy thing.
Yeah, and I was that was the other thing I was
I'm
going to
pretty
say
sure
that
it was.
you don't even know. Yeah, you don't even know like
pretty
if
sure
he
Canelo
really
Pretty sure he doesn't fucking care. I'm pretty sure it was an Oscar Eric Gomez deal. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted Canelo to be like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I would have been satisfied. He would have been like, listen, he fought Triple G last March or 2 Marches ago, whatever the time was, and he was supposed to weigh in at 170, and he chose not to weigh in. So I just want to close that loophole and make him weigh at 170 because it's for his title. Actually, it's not for Canelo's titles.
Mm-hmm.
Canelo's titles, the WBA, the WBC, do not require a next day weigh-in. It's only Danny Jacobs' title that does. Not for unification, granted, but it's for, let's say, if Danny Jacobs was fighting Billy Joe Saunders, or if he's fighting any other middleweight,
He's got to weigh in.
he's got to weigh in at 170 in the morning of. So I was saying, Canelo, just say it. I'm fucking A-side.
He's got hours to eat after that.
He does. He does that. And that's what Golden Boy said. Golden Boy was like, well, he can weigh whatever the fuck he wants on fight night.
Exactly.
So he just has to weigh
10
in.
pounds.
10 pounds.
Exactly. It's 10 pounds.
Do you think that changes anything with this fight?
No, I really don't think it does, and I really think that people really don't care. To be honest with you, but
well, no. Internet cares.
Yes, yeah. Internet cares about everything.
It's great. It's great.
Well, you're always gonna have somebody.
Yeah, internet cares about everything. But the point is that in terms of the fight, listen, one, he's the A side. If you agree to sign to fight this guy, you gotta do the agreement. 2, you signed the contract, so you know this before you signed the contract. So you can't complain after you signed to make a few $1 million over it. So
not a few, it's about 9.
yeah, exactly.
It's more than a few.
About 7 to 9. I mean, I would lose 40 pounds right now. I would starve myself in the next 2 months and fight Canelo for $7 to $9 million.
Still on? All right, so yeah, if he has to crawl into the ring for Canelo, he'll crawl into the ring for Canelo.
I'm calling Silver from Canelo. Well, I mean, I don't even think we should talk about yesterday's fights. I mean, it was a good card, but I think Laura's done.
Talk about your own girl.
Who?
Let him.
Oh yeah. Oh, I got something to say. I'm sorry. Look. Before
Julie.
Before I go on, I shout out Marco's a hater again. My guy, I know Pete hates you.
I don't hate.
I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
I think Hop hates you.
I think Hop hates you, but I don't think Pete hates you.
Pretty much.
Marco's a hater. You're my guy. Thanks for bringing my equipment back.
Thanks for the Wilder Fury ticket.
Thanks for the Wild Fury. Thanks for helping me out this week. I hope you enjoyed everything I took you to, because I hate going to this shit.
What media is from?
I took him to.
No, what media is he from?
Marcos is a hater.
No, boxing what?
Oh, he's from Behind the Gloves. I know.
Damn.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
Damn.
that. Hope Michelle's not
Let's
watching.
talk to the show about that.
Hope NJP's not watching. I'm just kidding. Love you, Marcos. Last night at the fights, good. I think it was a good card. I have no idea who the two guys featherweights were fighting, but it was pretty entertaining. Luis Ortiz looked like he's 60 years old.
Yeah.
Arizona Lara looks like
His opponent was funny as hell, though.
he was.
His opponent was funny as hell. He was laughing. He was dancing in the ring. He was a tough guy.
Luis Ortiz looked like he's 60 years old.
Yeah. He said he's 40.
I think the next any prime heavyweight destroys him.
Yeah.
It's sad
Well,
because
yeah.
I think. Who did I say was gonna take us off the air after the shit we talked about? The Lakers.
The Lakers, yeah.
There you go. Magic just struck.
But yeah, if Ortiz fought anybody that's a top 3-4 guy now, he's
I like him.
But yeah, I agree. If we had seen him at 30,
we would have seen him.
he would have been a fan favorite.
He's like 50 now. We would have seen him
Good
at 30.
technical fighter, power.
So I guess I want to end this show with fuck you.
To who?
To everyone.
Oh.
It's a great show.
Jesus. Wait, how do we go from fuck you to it was a great show?
It was a great show. It was a great show.
We started off with bitch and now.
Listen, no, I'm just kidding. It was a great show. Listen, this means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to everyone here. We're here in the basement where a lot of memories are made. I was here when the Giants won Super Bowl 46 with Hobb and Pete, while Dave and Hector were actually in Indianapolis. And it was one of the greatest experiences of my life here. Like, I'm pretty sure I said this after the Super Bowl, but I don't remember because I was probably drunk as fuck. But when the Giants beat the Patriots the second time in the Super Bowl, it was amazing. me and Hector Sr., Pete and Hobb, like, I mean, we didn't break shit like, some people did at Dave's house.
Oh, Jesus. Don't that.
But
The house is gone, Dave.
yeah, it doesn't exist. The house doesn't exist anymore.
It does exist.
It does, but it's not
in my
owned-
possession.
It's not owned by
in my
Dave
possession.
anymore.
It's not in my
But
possession.
we had an amazing time here. We've seen so many fights here. When Pacquiao knocked out, when Marquez knocked out
man.
Pacquiao.
Oh my god!
I was here when
Oh my
Marquez
gosh,
knocked out Pacquiao.
that was awesome.
It was crazy. It was crazy when because
No judges needed.
I remember this before it happened, and fucking Hex Senior goes, Marquez looks done.
I think we all thought that.
He's like, shit, look at his fucking nose. He's done. And then boom, bang. And this fucking house went
nuts.
Exploded.
Went nuts. So
Exploded.
we're
Without
gonna-
Hector.
Without Hector here.
Without Hector Jr.
Without Hector Jr. here. I mean, there's so many memories here that we're gonna keep coming back. As long as we're welcome here. I love Blackjacks. I love Yesterdays.
Mm.
I'm not gonna mention them. He doesn't like them. I love taking our show on the road, but this is really home, the basement. So we'll be back here more often, and you'll know why. So fuck you.
Peace and bye.